We are back. Listen, we've been gone for a minute, but Versus the podcast is back. And what a better way to start our return. I've got a super special interview today. You guys are not going to want to miss this. I have an interview with Coach Rick Lewis. He is the president of Phenom Hoops and Phenom Hoops Report. And we're going to talk with him, and you guys are going to learn about not only his well-known organization and program, but they've got a lot of great upcoming events that will be coming up here in the future. So what we're going to do at this time is that we're going to bring in Coach Rick Lewis. Hello there, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Coach Stan. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, listen, again, I told you before you came on, you don't understand how excited I am about having you on. We've known each other for a long time, and
Yes,
as
sir.
we'll go on into the podcast, one of the things that I respect about not only what you do, but the way you do it is your integrity about it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
honestly, you and I know that in this basketball world, especially when you start talking about doing camps and stuff like that, there are a lot of people in it for the wrong reasons.
Well, I can speak from experience. I had both my sons play collegiately and they coach collegiately. And, a lot of times, as a parent, I took my boys to a camp and, sure, they enjoyed the competition and they had a good time. And basically, that was the extent of it. You would more than likely have the top 5 to 10 kids from the camp that would get write-ups that would really benefit them as far as an evaluation is concerned. The one thing that we started doing and has been very successful, every player that comes to our camp gets a very thorough and very detailed evaluation. And you've been part of the camp, so you know exactly how much we rely on the coaches. But we try to get qualified coaches who they come and they're going to coach the kids, but they also have to fill out an evaluation on every player on their team. In addition to that, our staff is also watching all the teams play and all the players. And what we basically do there is we get the evaluations that each individual coach puts about each player or each camper. And then we get all our thoughts and we put it together and we do a little Reader's Digest version and we put that on our evaluation. And in addition to that, we do a headshot. So after every single camp, every single camper, it doesn't matter whether, we have 100 kids in camp, whether you're the best camper or, you're the one that, needs more improvement. Whether you're 1 or 100, you're going to get a nice, thorough evaluation that tells you where you stack up at the current time, what your strengths are, and basically what you need to work on.
Well, one of the things I can attest to is that, like you, I had a son that played basketball, and we went to a lot of different camps. The main reason that I can not only work with you, but continue to support your camps is that when I think the first camp that I coached, you met all the coaches and you mandated us to give them a good evaluation, but also make it very honest, but also not demeaning.
Right. And I think the most important thing is, and I tell the coaches, and you've been there, treat each player on your team when you're doing the evaluation, treat it like it's your own son. If you have a son going to a camp, what would you expect as far as an evaluation? You want a very honest, you want a very thorough and very detailed evaluation. But at the same time, there's a way to do it. Like you said, we'd say like if a kid lacks athleticism, we'll say, hey, the next step in his improvement is to increase his athleticism, whether it's, lateral quickness or vertical explosion. Those are the next steps in his development. But we try to highlight his strengths, but also put into it in a very diplomatic way what he needs to work on as well. Because the great thing about our website is we do these evaluations. It's a free site, so anybody and everybody can read it.
Well, what I'd like to do right now is that I created I created a little slideshow that will help us kind of talk about your program. And the first thing I did was, like I said, I've worked many of your camps, been with you for a long time. Phenom Hoops 150. What I wrote here is that it quickly has become a premier North Carolina's. Well, listen, North Carolina and South Carolina's premier source of high school basketball exposure. They're an NCAA compliant scouting service that offers a unique and valued opinion throughout the basketball landscape. The Phenom platform offers nationally recognized exposure camps, AAU tournaments, and high school showcases, and a chance to play in front of primetime coaches and scouts. And I am a testament to that. Now, you are the president, but I found that you have your son, Kobe, who's a vice president. And as you mentioned, he played at UNC Charlotte from 2009 to 2013. Also on the coaching staff of UNC Charlotte from 2013 to 2018. But he also was on the coaching staff of UMBC, which is the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I'm not really familiar with Kobe because I think he's older than my son, but your other vice president, I'm really familiar with. When I started bringing my son to your camps, Tyler was still in high school. And I remember in particular, one of the camps that we were at, I really wanted to watch him play, but that particular camp, I think he had hurt himself. So he didn't get to play. But Tyler, coming out of high school, was very highly touted, played at NC State from 2012 to 2014. Then he transferred to Butler, where he finished in 2017. Now, in Butler, I read as a senior, his assist to turnover ratio was second in the nation.
It was 4-1. I mean, 2-1 is a good assist to turnover ratio at the collegiate level, but Tyler's was 4-1 assist to turnover ratio. And that's, for someone that is basically a sub 6 foot point guard at the collegiate level playing in the Big East, you're going against guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". You have to be really good at something. And he was really good at handling the ball. His court vision was off the charts, and he was a great passer. And the thing about it was Tyler's senior year, he played at Oak Hill Academy under Steve Smith. They went 44-0, won the national championship, and he was able to go to 2 Sweet 16s. One at NC State and one at Butler. And his senior year at Butler, they lost in the Sweet 16 to UNC. And that was the year UNC went on to win the national championship. So I guess, if you're going to lose to someone, you lose to the national championship. And then, of course, Colby is my oldest son. He played at Charlotte, was on the staff at Charlotte. Both of them bring a unique blend of two Phenom Hoops. Colby is a little bit like me. He's a perfectionist. He's really, really organized. He wants everything to run, on time, and he wants everything to go just perfect. Tyler's just a little bit more laid back. He's more of the personality, I would say, of the business, whereas Colby and myself are really the ones that, try to make things work on the back end. But it's great to have both my sons part of it. The good thing about it is you have, 2 young men who played collegiately, who coached collegiately. And you mentioned our NCAA compliant scouting service. This is where it's so important for young players being in our events. We have over 200 schools that take our service. We have high major schools, whether it's UNC, Duke, NC State, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina, whether it's Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio State, Butler, 200 across the country. We have high majors, mid majors, low majors, D2, D3 schools that take our service. The great thing about having Colby and Tyler on hand is college coaches really respect them and their opinion because they know what it's like. They've been video coordinators. They broke down film. They've done it all. So, when college coaches ask us about players, we can give them a very honest and very truthful evaluation. And, after every event, we put out a very detailed report that goes out to college coaches where we basically list the players by class. We go high, major, down, and we put all the information on there. And they do a remarkable job.
Well, not yet. You did mention that both your sons not only played but coach. When Tyler was at Furman, I was going to a high school basketball coaches camp, and I ran into him. And I said, "You're not going to remember me." I said, "But I've been coming to your dad's camp," and he stopped me, and he remembered me. He remembered me. So not only was he at Furman, but he was at East Carolina and Elon as well on the coaching staff.
Right.
Yeah, and he was very exciting to watch play. Oh my gosh, man,
he was fun, and I still miss watching him play today.
Listen, I know that feeling. Also, you have another young man that works with you, Coach Kelvin Mills.
Yeah, he's our Coach K.
Okay.
Coach Mills has been with me since 2003. I started doing some camps at Huntersville when Tyler was like 9 and 10 and Colby was like 12 and 13. And we did our drills and skills camp at North Mecklenburg High School. And then I started doing the camps way back then as well. And when I started doing my camps, Coach Mills started helping me. And he's been with me ever since.
Wow. Isn't that awesome?
If there's a Phenom event, whether it's a travel ball event in the spring or summer, or whether it's a camp in the fall, Coach Mills is going to be a familiar face with Phenom Hoops. And, Coach, I have to say, Coach Mills is, the epitome of loyalty. He's very conscientious. I've always said a company is only as good as the people working for them. And I have some great people working with me. And he's one of them.
Yes, sir. I love Coach Mills. I really do. I got first introduced to you. That's my son Shy, and I was bringing him to your camps. And like I said, as a parent, you want to see, number one, if you're going to get your money's worth, and you want to see what kind of program is run, because we've gone to a lot of camps in the past that I would never send anyone to, only because they just throw the ball out there and let the kids play. Nobody's evaluating, and it's just a big mess. But Shy attended your camps, loved them. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop a nugget here. You know that I have SC Phenoms AAU organization. The very first camp that I came to, you guys were doing the regional camp for Phenoms basketball, and when they were with Adidas and stuff. So you guys gave out jerseys, so I brought the jersey home. At the time, I didn't have a name for my organization, so I'm like, whoa, Phenom. I said SC Phenom. So I got the Phenoms from there, and then I put SC on it. And people have been asking me, is that South Carolina Phenoms? And I fool them and I go, no, it's Stan Carpenter Phenoms. But that really started with you there. And then you allowed me to start helping working the camps. And that's the thing that I really have enjoyed, being able to teach and pour into the kids. And I've been bringing my teams to your events as well. Because, like I said, I love them. They're very well run, and I put my reputation and name on your camps.
Well, thank you. Well, and you mentioned earlier, and it's a key point for us. You mentioned you want to make sure you get your money's worth, and that's important for us as well. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, you come to one of our camps. We want you as a parent and a player to walk out of there and say, I really got a benefit out of being at this camp. And it was absolutely our money's worth. We take a lot of pride in running a very well-organized professional camp. We do things a little bit different, as far as the way we run our camps, like the Phenom 150 camps or the junior Phenom camps. Now we start off, we set the tone early. I always give my 5 golden rules. I've told those 5 golden rules for the last 18 years. Parents, they love it. It's a lot of good information to the players. But the other thing is we're very punctual. We're going to be on time.
That's right.
We want to make sure that we give out a schedule. People can look at it and go, okay, my son's going to be playing at 11:30, 1:30, and say 3:30, and everything is going to be on time. And I think that's the most important thing. And the other thing that we've done and we instituted over the years, because a lot of times you go to a camp and, basically you got one kid who will dribble the air out of the ball. And, you got a kid on the team and, only 1 or 2 players touch the ball. So what we did is we instituted a rule that called the 3 dribble rule.
That's right.
And basically is once you cross the half court, you're only allowed 3 dribbles. After that 3rd dribble, unless it's a move to the basket, you're going up for a layup, you got to pass the ball. And I have an interesting story. We had our top 80 camp one year, and I had Kobe White, who's now with the Chicago Bulls. And, he was over there, and he made a move, and it was a little bit more than 3 dribbles, and the referee called it, and he made the basket. And that would have probably been his 40th point for that particular game. And I just looked at him, and he looked at me, and he goes, Coach, rules are rules. And it's just a respect factor. But, the one thing we try to do is encourage as much as possible that the players know how to pass, cut, move without the basketball, and try to play team basketball, which is very hard in a team setting. But we do emphasize that greatly.
Well, you mentioned Kobe White. I was doing some digging, and I found a video of a young man here. Let me just see if I can. His name is Demetrius, and until I saw this, I had no clue that was his name. Demetrius Morant. A lot of our viewers will know him as John Morant. At the time, he was in the 10th grade on this video. Also, I've known that throughout the years that I've coached, you've had a lot of kids that have been major D1 players that have played professionally, that have come through the camps. And one of the things that I'm just noticing on this video here, not only is Ja scoring the ball, but we see him passing the ball, and we just see a good range of his skills.
He was tremendous. I'll be the first one to admit to you that, probably at that time he was 6 feet tall, and he was really, really good. But no one would have imagined as a sophomore that he would reach the success he's reached so far as an NBA player. As you can tell from this video, you could tell he's slender, he's athletic, he's really long, but you could tell he had game. He had a lot of good skill set. And like you said, not only did he score the ball, but he was really, really good at passing the ball as well.
Well, and you know what? It has worked out for him. But, this just goes to show that you've had a lot of quality athletes through your program. And another thing, I've been able to bring some of our athletes to your camps that have now gone on to play college basketball. This is Saeed Burnside. He's at Florida A&M. He came to your camp and has now played on the collegiate level. Dorian Miles, as you can see down in the lower right-hand corner, he played in your camps, but now plays at Pfeiffer College. One of my favorite kids is Jacob Smith. Let me move this John Morant banner here out of the way. Jacob Smith came to your camps, played basketball at Southern Wesleyan, but now is on the coaching staff of the women's basketball team at Columbia International University. So, like I said, I'm a testament to what you've done and how your camps and exposure has benefited our athletes. Because I can tell you this, Coach, one of the things I tell kids when I tell them about your camps, it's not enough to be the best in your city. If you want to know where you stack up, you got to step outside and you got to take on competition from everywhere. And then that way you'll know. And then one of the things that we've also done with me coming to your camps, if I bring a kid to your camp, I don't evaluate him.
No.
No, I don't evaluate him because it's easy. Number one, I already know what he can do, but it's easy for me to pad that evaluation. The integrity of your camps and those evaluations let these kids know exactly where they stand.
Absolutely. If we do have someone who is a parent that it's a coach that's working, we don't allow them to coach their son during camp. Um, we don't want to, have a bias, and for the most part, if you're really a parent coach, you don't want to coach your kid at camp anyway. You want someone else to evaluate them.
Exactly.
I know I wouldn't want to coach my son at camp. I would want someone else to lay their eyes on them.
That's
I've
right.
already seen them quite a bit. I would want other people to see them and have a better evaluation and see things that I wouldn't see. Because we're all going to be prejudiced when it comes to our own kids.
That's
But
exactly.
the thing that you mentioned a lot of young players at different levels, whether it's a Pfeiffer or a Carolina International.
Mhm.
That's the one thing that I take a lot of pride in. We got kids, we got dozens and dozens of kids that's come through our program that's playing in the NBA today. I mean, whether it's Zion Williamson, John Morant, Patrick Williams, who's also with the Bulls, Kobe White. Those are just a few of them that's come through. Um, I get another good story is there's another young man that plays on John Morant's team at Memphis, and that's Desmond Bain. And we discovered Desmond when Tyler was at Butler. We did an Indiana top 80 for 2 or 3 years, and I remember that one year. We had a loaded camp, and when Desmond came there, he had no D1 offers whatsoever. And he looked really, really good. He won an award. In all honesty, he probably was the best player that day. But we had about five high major guys that are all nationally ranked. We're sitting there going, and we ranked this guy as the camp MVP. People are going to look at us like, wait a second. But we took his name out there and we put it in our scouting report, and we basically had him as a mid-major plus to a high major minus. And the first thing a lot of college coaches like who's offered them and that kind of stuff. And at the time, he was only being recruited, I think, by some D2 schools locally in Indianapolis. And Jamie Dixon, I know, Jamie was taking our service at Pittsburgh when he went out to VCU, and I guess he remembered his name. But when he went out there, they needed players, and Desmond was still available. He went out there as a freshman and made the all freshman Big 12 team. And then his sophomore year, he was all conference, and now he's in the NBA and doing really, really well. And that's a situation where here's a young man that going into his senior year had no D1 offers. None whatsoever. I can't say that, we're the reason why, but the platform did help because it got his name out there. And you see where he is today. So we have a lot of those stories, but we also have a lot of stories where young players that, they have nothing as far as the table, as far as offers. And we're able to connect them with some schools, whether it's a lower tier D1,
Right.
D2, or D3. And they're able to play college basketball and get a free education. Yeah. And that's really what it's all about.
That is exactly right. Now, Coach, you have some upcoming events that we're going to talk about. Let's talk about for the middle school kids. Tell us what you have coming up this upcoming weekend.
Well, this coming weekend, what we're doing is we have our Phenom camp. We got a session for Saturday and Sunday, both for the junior camp. The junior camp is for grades 5 through 8. The Phenom 150 is for the high school kids 9 through 12. We'll have this at the Rise Indoor Sports Center, which is a large multi-court facility. It has like 8 courts. So what we're going to do there is we're having it the same day. So basically we'll have the middle school going on in the high school camp going on at the same time, but it'll be the same camp. We just separate and segregate the younger kids, and put them together and the high school kids together as well. So, we have a busy weekend coming up, both Saturday and Sunday. We still have registration that's open. But that's always been our staple and go-to camp over the years. And before COVID, we used to get kids from 7, 8, 9 different states attending the event. Now, since COVID, we don't get the players coming from such large distances like they used to in the past, but we get more kids from North Carolina, South Carolina, and the Virginia area attending the camp, whereas before we got them from all over the place.
Yeah. And if you guys look at the screen, you can go ahead and sign up for these events at PhenomHoopsReport.com. Click the link that says events, and you can sign up for these events. One of the things I'll tell you is that normally these events will really sell out. So if you have a middle school kid, 5th through 8th, you want to see where they measure up against other kids, or you have a high schooler, 9th through 12th, go on PhenomHoopsReport.com, click the link, and go ahead and get your registration. Coach, I'm lucky enough and fortunate enough I'll be there helping you this weekend. I'm excited about it. Can't really wait to get out there and coach with the kids. But also, even down the road, you have in October, you've got your NC Top 80 and SC Top 80 camps coming up. Tell me about those.
Well, the other camps are open invitation. The North Carolina Top 80, this is our 9th year doing it. The South Carolina Top 80 will be our 8th year doing it. We've had some really tremendous players come through both of them. That is invitation only. Basically, what we do is take the top 80 players in the state, regardless of class. So, basically when people like, hey, I want to invite to this particular camp, it is a well sought after invite, but we're not taking we may take out of 80 kids, depending on the talent level. We're going to be taking the top 20 to 30 players from the senior class, top 20 players from the junior class, maybe 10 to 15 from the sophomore, and very seldom do we take over 5 players from the freshman class because, they haven't really been proven, on the high school level as of yet.
Well, you guys invited one of my guys last year, Justin Ray. He's at Eastside High School. He's class of 2024. And since that time in the work that he's put in over the summer, he's starting to get several offers, and very exciting player to watch. But I think by him attending that top 80 camp, again, it gave him an opportunity to see where he fit in with the other top 80 kids in South Carolina. And not only will that do something for your confidence, but again, it lets you know where you stand. Because these are the same kids you're going to be competing for scholarships.
Well, and usually the top 80 players that come to the camp are players that should be scholarship worthy. Now in North Carolina, the population is double of what South Carolina. So the talent pool in North Carolina, from 1 through 80 is going to be deeper. In South Carolina, you don't have the population as North Carolina. So, basically, your top echelon of players should be scholarship worthy. The other ones are borderline, and those are the players that are looking to get scholarship opportunities. And the good thing about it is when the kids come to this event and we do our scouting report, it means a lot more. We're able to evaluate a player playing against other quality players. Sometimes it's, you go to a camp and, the competition may be stronger, and then you have kids that may not be quite as talented. So they're going against lesser competition. So they may look better than what they are. With the top 80 camps. Everybody there is quality players. They're the type of kids that, off their high school team, they should be the best player off their high school team. They should be like leading scorers off their high school team, all conference, all district, and, in some situations, all state. Those are the type of players that will attend these camps.
That is awesome. Now, you have something that's called Coach Rick's Skills Academy, Coach Rick's Skills and Drills. Tell me about that.
Well, we just finished last weekend before last our Lewis Basketball Academy. We started doing that last year. That is a camp that's really geared toward just getting better. What we do there, we put 10 players to a basket, and we do stations, and it's teaching. We had it 2 weeks ago. We had right at 80 kids. It was a 2-day camp, and basically it was hard work. But at the end of the day, the kids got better. We're telling them how to, come off ball screens. We're telling them about shot fake, one dribble pull up, playing off 2 feet, coming off screens. It's a teaching camp, and they get a lot of reps in. At the end of the 2 days, those young men are extremely tired. So basically, what we're going to do this year, we're going to do basically the same concept as how I got started in the business, which I told you in 2003 when Coach Mills started with me and Tyler was like 9. We used to do our drills and skills camps, and all we are working on is ball handling, shooting, passing, working on defense. This is a camp that you want to come to get ready for the season that's going to help you get better. And it's a teaching camp. So if you want to learn, the game, get better, that's a great camp to come to. And the reason why we did this, Coach, is there's so many camps out there today. And, the one thing that's happened is everybody's doing it. I mean, every weekend there's some type of camp, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's more camps available. Now you have colleges doing elite camps. So it's gotten sort of, a little bit diluted as far as the camps. And that's why you made the point, are they getting their money's worth?
Right.
We want to make sure with whatever camp you're coming to, you're going to get your money's worth. That's something that we stand on. If you don't get your money's worth, hey, we'll let you come to another camp for free.
Right.
But the Coach Rick Skills Academy is going to be something where we're just going to work on getting better for the high school season. And they don't do really any playing.
Right.
And we'll do some situations where we're doing a 3-on-3. They get to do that live, and that's a lot of fun too. But it's more of a competition that we have at each basket.
That is great. And I really urge any of these young athletes, it's not all about the running up and down and playing. No. You got to learn what you're doing. So make sure that you guys click on the link, www.phenomhoopreport.com. Check out the camps and the Skill Academy. Again, he said, like you said, the SE Top 80 and NC Top 80 are invitation only. So basically, don't call him, he'll call you.
You mentioned something earlier about just going up and down the court. And this is one thing we instituted with our Lewis Basketball Academy. And we talk about spacing, okay, if you're a wing, you're going to run straight to the corner. Why? Because you want to space out the floor. If you're a big, we want you to rim run, go from one rim to the other. We call rim running. So, we do stations showing people how to space the floor. But the other thing that we're doing too is we have film study. We have Colby has video basically on all the drills that we're doing. We try to say, okay, these are the drills that we're doing at this camp. But we take it one step further. We go in and show everybody actual game footage of somebody at the high school, college, or NBA level. And we're saying, now, you remember we did this drill? Let us show you what it looks like in real person. And that's invaluable.
Well, again, Coach, I really, really, really appreciate your time. Again, I just really can't tell you enough. I thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, what we're going to do is that we're going to air this tomorrow night, which will be Monday. We're going to air it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And so it'll be on our website, which is Versus the Podcast. It'll be on my personal Facebook page. So we're going to get the word out there. Again, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have a really, really great week. And I'll look to see you on Saturday morning, bright and early.
We'll see you Saturday morning. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.